So you guys have, you may want blocks. We're going to do lizard. So today's practice is functional movement and functional yoga and yin. And the yin part will be a lot about hips. So we'll focus in lizard pose, although they don't call it that in yin, but that's what we're going to do. And then we'll do a little bit with our block to open up through the front of hips as well. So it's about hip hinging today. Yes. All right, so blocks and then a strap too. You guys have straps. Good, perfect. All right. All right, well, start yourself in any way that feels real good. We'll end up being on our backs to start practice together, but this first little bit of time is wherever you need it to be. So you've made it to your mat. Surrender to the fact you decided to do this. You decided to be on your mat today for you, for your health, for your well-being. So with that in mind, let yourself have this little bit of time of quiet and relaxation. Relax through the body. Relax your mind. Surrender. Your next few breaths, really feel the breath moving all the way down into your hip points. As we move through practice today, and especially as we change our relationship to gravity, allowing for that down and out breath remains very important, as does a little bracing of the core, slight bracing. And we'll practice that as we get set up here. All right, so start some little movement, any movement here that you need. And if you are not flat on your back, if you'll remove anything that is underneath you, and then draw your knees into your chest, wrapping your arms around your legs. Maybe drawing your nose up to your knees, rounding out through the spine as much as you can here. Release your head back to your mat and then find movement that feels good. So you could keep the knees hugged in. You could stretch out long. You could windshield wiper the legs. Anything here that feels all right to start. So as I mentioned, our practice is about hip hinging. And why is that important? So it protects your spine and reduces back pain by teaching us how to bend from the hips. That is really important in yoga because we don't do it a whole lot in this class, but in some classes you do a lot of forward folding. We don't want to be moving from our back. We want to be hinging from the hip in those instances. So with that in mind, if you will join me with the feet to the floor, arms alongside you, and we're going to start off here with just one leg in the air. So the right leg, let's actually start there. And you could keep the sole of that left foot to the mat, or you could slide the leg out. But all you're going to do with a little space under the back. So one thing before we start is just notice spinal alignment, particularly your low back. We are going to leave that space under there. We're going to try and kind of mimic what we do when we forward fold. So that right leg, you're actually going to send it down towards your mat and you'll lift it back up. So right leg travels down and up. You choose the pace, but as it flows down, notice if there's any change through the lower back. Does it come up further off the mat? And the other thing to notice here is just that muscular action. If you want to put your thumb into that right hip crease and just notice the action that happens with the hip flexor. You're probably feeling that iliopsoas muscle, but just how that has to work to lift the leg back up. All right, the next time the right leg is up, set the right foot to the floor. All we're going to do is switch to that left leg. So the left leg is up and you're letting it travel down and up. Now, sole of the foot to the floor on that right side makes this a little less challenging. If you'd like a little more challenge, you could send the leg straight out onto the mat. But once again here, if you find that your lower back is really making a change and there's more of an arch, then maybe you set the sole of the foot back to the mat or bend the left knee a little bit as the leg travels down. All right, do a couple more on this side. And then we'll set the soles of both feet back to the mat. All right, we are going to practice this with both legs, but we're going to keep the knees bent for now. So arms are alongside you. Let's lift the legs into a tabletop position. All right, keeping the legs in that shape. We're dropping both heels toward the mat. Once again here, this is going to be a lot more challenging than those single leg movements. If you find there's a lot of space under that lower back, if that changes in any way as the legs go down, then maybe you don't travel far down. I just want you to notice this because this, when we do a hip hinge standing, bending the knees is actually going to give us a little bit more leverage to do a hip hinge correctly. But it does require a little core strength, especially in this position. All right, dropping both heels a couple more times here. And then the next time the legs are up, draw the knees back into the chest, give them a good squeeze in. And let's rock and roll up to seated. All right, so we are going to move into a position here. Let's actually grab our straps and come onto your knees. And we're going to grab the strap. It's kind of a cow's face arms position, but really what I want you to feel is more the back of the neck and the lower part of the back. And have that strap be nice and tight. And what I'd like you to do is just do a rounding, like exaggerate that round and feel the resistance of that strap to the back. Now we're going to change it up a little bit. If you keep the back flat and send your bottom back and then hinge and come back up, I want you just to notice. So we're going to try and do that. You're sending your bottom back towards your heels and you're hinging the body forward. Try not to change the position of your spine. So that is the key. If you find that you are rounding a little more through the neck or rounding a little more through the back, try to find where the spine is in a neutral position as you fold. And then if you're okay, the next time you come up, you can either stay right here or you can sit all the way down and maybe walk your hands just a little bit closer together to find a little stretch through the shoulders. Good. And then we'll release that strap completely. We'll do it on the other side, but let's do a little bit here. We're going to find a plank position. Plank or a modified plank, strong through the core, strong through the legs. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lower all the way down to your mat. On your inhale, peel the front of the body up. Let's float the hands. Lower down. Once again, inhale, peel the front of the body up. Float the hands. And lower down. Here's one more. Inhale, peel the front of the body up. We'll float the hands. You can choose to add the legs here. You could choose to send the arms forward. That requires a little bit more from the back side of the body. Good, looking just slightly out in front of you, keeping that spinal alignment. Hold here, one more full breath. Good, and then let's lower down. Let's push up and back, extended child's pose. You're welcome to find any variation of child's pose, any movement that you'd like to practice within this pose. And then we do just a little bit more with that hip hinge before we start to move from a standing position. All right, so if you'll join me again on your knees, this time your left arm, is it left arm up, y'all? Right arm underneath, thanks, Taylor. Okay. So once you have that position, again, it's not a full cow's face. It's more that I want you to feel this back side. This is kind of an indicator. If there's some rounding through the spine, you hopefully will feel that behind you with that strap becoming a little more rigid. All right, so right here, you're sending your bottom back, you're hinging the body, core is strong. Inhale to rise back up. Exhale to hinge the body, sending the bottom back. The bottom back is key, and that will be key when we stand as well. Inhale to rise back up. Good. Do a couple more moving at your pace here. And just notice how slight abdominal bracing really is required to stay strong and support the entire body, really the core. All right, come on up. And then you can sit back or just stay up, but let's stretch a little bit more into this cow's face shape. So you are walking your hands together, sitting up nice and tall, not letting that left shoulder push you forward. Good. All right, we'll release the strap. Let's move to all fours, curl the toes under, walk hands and feet together, standing forward, bend. We'll pause here for a few breaths, just allowing for that nice gentle release through the back of the legs. So if it's not feeling quite so gentle, use a prop to support you or widen your stance, bend your knees a little extra. We want this to feel not so intense. All right. Good. We will slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Come all the way up to stand. Once you arrive all the way up, move up to the front of the mat. So again, because we've got this focus, let's do a couple sun salutations, just half salutes with our hands to our hips. So it's going to feel a little weird because we will not have, we're going to actually kind of minimize the movement. So hands to your hips, and let's draw the shoulders back and the chest forward. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, feel the hinge of the body. In fact, you can find that hip crease, just see what's going on there, folding all the way. Once you have folded all the way, lift yourself up to a half lift. Good, and just feel that spinal alignment. You might need a really deep bend in the knees, that's okay. and then fold yourself forward again. We do have the rounding at the bottom of this forward fold. All right, with that hip hinge, and again, a deep bend if you need it, we rise all the way back up. Good. Let's do one more. So you're drawing the hips or the shoulders back, opening up, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, hinge from the hip. We fold. We inhale to a half lift. So nice, y'all. This time, as you fold, let your arms completely relax. We'll reverse swan dive, sweep all the way up. Feel free to lengthen as much as you can here and open. And then let's add on here. Take a deep breath in, sending the arms up. Exhale to a chair pose. In this chair pose, tucking the bottom under slightly, abdominal engagement. Deep breath in here. As you exhale, sweep your arms toward the back of the room. Inhale to sweep them up. Exhale to sweep them back. That's with a little bit of a hinge here. We inhale to sweep up. We exhale, sweep back. This time, inhale, sweep up to chair pose. Exhale, fold forward, straightening out through the legs. Inhale to a half lift, hinging from the hip. Exhale, fold yourself forward. We step back to plank. Plank or a modified plank. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, lower down, inhaling up, a back bend of your choice. Travel to down dog. And let's hang out there for a few breaths. In this pose, feel free to pedal out the feet, to drop the shoelace side of the foot to the mat, to stretch through the front of the foot, the shin. Do a little lateral stretch by dropping the heels over toward one side of the mat and then to the other. All right, we have a couple more breaths to hold. Press both heels toward the floor, the chest toward the thighs, press away from your hands. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale to bring your knee in, stepping through, rise up, warrior one. Good, take a deep breath in here. As you exhale from your hip, fold just into a diagonal. So a little hip hinge here. Inhale to rise back up. Exhale your hands down around your right foot steps back to join your left. Either plank or down dog. If you'd like to add a little flow in here, you're welcome to do that. Completely optional. Down dog, inhale the left leg up. Exhale, knee in and step through, rising up, warrior one. Good, lunging through that front leg. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to find a little bit of a hinge. Inhale, lengthen back up. Exhale your hands down around your left foot either back to a down dog or plank. Flow or no flow, your choice. From your down dog, take a deep breath in. Look to the front end of the mat, we travel forward. Inhale, half lift up, hinging from the hip. Exhale, fold yourself forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, sweep all the way up. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, lengthen up, chair pose as you exhale. Let's add a twist in here. Take a deep breath in. Exhaling to twist to your right. Perfect. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to your left. Good. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to your left. So nice, y'all. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale, straighten your legs and fold all the way forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step or hop back, find your plank pose, find your flow here. That could be plank to down dog only. It could be just a push up, whatever you'd like. All right, so we do this warrior one, flow just a couple more times, one right, one left, and then we move on. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, knee in, step through, rising up to your warrior one. Deep breath. Exhaling to hinge. Inhale to lengthen back up. Exhale, hands down around your right foot. Flow or no flow, your choice. Meeting in down dog. Last time. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, knee in, step through, rising up, warrior one. Good. We slightly hinge the body forward. We rise up. Hands down around your left foot. Flow or no flow. We meet in either down dog or in child's pose for a couple of breaths. All right, so take your position for a reset. The next flow that we practice does incorporate some balance. And then we move into our yin portion of class. So as we move into this balance piece, just thinking about the thoughts in your head that are not helpful. Make sure that you send yourself these positive messages, especially through balance. Sometimes we become so hard on ourselves that just not helpful. All right, from down dog, look to the front end of the mat. We are traveling forward. And then you choose how you get to a standing position, either rolling up or hinging the body, coming all the way up with a reverse swan dive. All right, so you may want to put a block toward the front end of the mat. And I have a couple of options for you. We just practiced this where we had the strap behind the back to notice then to allow for a little bit more of an indicator of when we were rounding or not. You can choose to do that again here, but let me show you what it looks like. So we'll end up being here with the knee up, and then you're going to either keep this knee bent, but you're doing a little bit of a hinge of the body so that hopefully you can feel. We're going to try and feel that. So either that strap, or you could just put your hands in this position. It will change things for balance just a little bit. So just know that. Again, be so kind to yourself here. We'll start off with all of the weight. Let's to the right foot. So let's actually change this up. If your right hand is on top, bring your left arm on top, right arm underneath. And once again, it's not a full cow's face. It's just these touch points to the back of the head and that lower part of the spine. The left leg is up. And what you'll do here is you'll do this little bit of a hinge of the body. It's more about the hinge than it is about the actual poses here. You'll slowly bring that knee back up. We'll do that again. So we're coming back up with knee up. And then hinging from that right hip. Trying to keep that spinal alignment. Good. Once again, we are rising back up, the left knee up. Good. We have two more like that. So just slow and steady, no rush. Good. Now knee is up. This time as the left leg travels back, release your arms, release your strap, and let your arms and your legs find whatever variation of warrior 3 you'd like to practice. Pause one more full breath. Good. And then when we land, we're just letting that foot land about 2.5 feet from each other. The heels are aligned, hands are to your hips. Once again, we're finding this hinge. Pyramid pose for just a couple of breaths. Now, what ends up happening is that right hip wants to pop forward. So keep drawing that right hip back. Feel that length through the right hamstring. If it's too much, come up out of that a little bit more. Now, your left hand is going to connect with either your block or the floor. The right arm extends up for a revolved triangle pose. Yes, so nice. Perfect. The right arm comes down. You'll step your left foot in to join your right, standing forward bend, and then come up to a standing position however you would like. Good. We'll reset and prepare for that other side. So now, all of your weight's going to be to your left foot. Your right foot will be up, your right arm on top, left hand underneath. And again, it's not cow's face, it's just these touch points, the sacrum and the neck. Try to find that spinal alignment and keep it as we move. Right leg is up. All right, you'll begin to travel here. That right leg does not need to straighten out. We are practicing a hinge from a little more urgent position with this balance piece. Right knee up, just like a little teeter-totter. Right knee comes back up. You have 2 more. You can practice them on your own. Actually, I think we have 3 more. We did 5 that last time around. Good. Tell yourself something good here. You got this. Know that you are optimizing muscular strength in that left leg. Stay strong through it. Good. Once you have wrapped up that 5th round, that's when you'll drop your strap. The right leg will extend long. And you can choose whatever arm position you'd like to practice with this warrior 3 leg. Good. We gently drop and prepare for pyramid pose. So line your heels up, right toes angled up toward that right upper corner of your mat. Hands to your hips. Feel that hinge long through the spine. Stay right here. If you'd like to add a little bit more this round, maybe you send your arms straight out in front. That is requiring a little more from your core. Actually, it might feel a lot more through the core. You could also cradle your elbows behind the back or prayer position to open up through the shoulders a little bit more. One more breath. Your right hand will find the floor or the block. Left arm goes up for a revolved triangle pose. Perfect. All right. Let that left hand come to the floor. Shimmy that right foot all the way back for a lunge. Left foot steps back to join the right for either plank or down dog. Find a flow. All right, we'll practice lizard pose. We're starting off with the right foot forward. So when you're ready, step that right foot outside the right pinky and set yourself up for lizard in any way that you would like. That back leg can remain active. You could drop the knee to the mat, hands either to the floor or to your block, forearms to the floor or to the block. Good. We are practicing this from a yin model perspective. So that means that we are holding here for a couple of minutes And actually be just a little bit more than that. So soften in, just surrender. Let the upper body relax, soften down. You're welcome to stay folded. If you'd like to add a little bit more for that back leg, come on up and set the left hand only to the floor. You could just even find a twist here, or you could reach around and grab that left foot with the right hand. Good. Now, whatever you need to do in between, feel free. So whether that be a little child's pose, some down dog movement, a flow, your choice. We'll prepare for the other side. When you are ready, your left foot will step wide. And take time here again to set yourself up in a way that will allow for some stillness. Surrender. Now you're welcome to stay folded, or you could find the twist. You could find that little bit of extra or a lot extra for your quad and your hip flexor right side. Let's gently release. All right, you can shimmy this right knee in, and we're moving onto our back. So if you want to, you'll bring a block with you, the little bit more opening for the hip flexor that we will add in here. All right, before we do that, well, and actually in conjunction with that, let's actually find an unsupported bridge pose first. So if you'll set the soles of the feet to the mat, arms alongside you, we push the hips up into the air for a bridge, and we're pausing here for a few breaths. So if you'd like to widen your stance, point your toes toward the corners of your mat, bring your weight to the balls of the feet, to the heels, walk your shoulders underneath. There's so many ways to practice this pose. Find the best way for you. Take another breath in here. As you exhale out, slowly come out of your bridge. Feel free to hug the knees into the chest briefly, and then we'll prepare for a supported bridge. So when you're ready, you'll slide your block under the lower part of the back. And you can choose here. So I was going to have us do both legs out at the same time to open up through the front of the hips a little bit more. But if it feels best to just extend one leg at a time, feel free to do that, and I'll let you know when it's time to switch to the other leg. Good. If you have one leg extended, switch to the other leg. About 45 more seconds here. Slowly slide both feet back to the mat so that you can push your hips up and slide the block out from underneath you, hugging the knees into the chest. All right, if you have any inversion here that you'd like to practice for just a few seconds, feel free. Happy baby pose. If you want to send your legs into the air briefly, feel free to do that. And then we'll twist and we'll find our final meditation pose. All right, we'll end up twisting with the knees dropped to the left first. So if there's any particular way you'd like to set up the legs for, again, a drop over to this left side, feel free to vary. You could just stack the knees one on top of the legs, one on top of the other, or if you'd like to change that up, you've got Got that option. Arms are wide, maybe looking to your right to stretch through the neck. We'll slowly switch, bringing the legs to the right or dropping them gently to the right. Maybe turning to look to your left. And then slowly bring legs back to center. Let's prepare for final relaxation. So if there are any props you'd like to use to support you in this final shape, take time to set those up. Let yourself completely surrender into this pose, this final pose you have chosen. Relax. Let your next 2 breaths be the biggest of class and include a surrendering exhale. And now bring some gentle movement back to your body. You're welcome to stay on your back, or you could roll to your favorite side and rest for a couple of breaths. In this time, taking notice of how you treated yourself during practice and what you have done on your mat today to optimize your health. Taking time away from your desk, away from life, just for 45 minutes, and you did that. So acknowledging that. We meet in a seated posture, however you'd like to get there, you choose. Let's take one more big deep breath in, sending the arms all the way up on the inhale. As you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. This is a quote from Sanya Rakati. Surrender to what is, let go of what was, have faith in what will be. Thanks so much for joining me. Namaste, friends.